Peak perfection. Alright, y'all, so before we even talk about the characters, the story, and all that, I really just want to talk about the animation. 10 out of 10. 1,000, 10,000 out of 10. This is easily the best animation ever. I don't care. We can debate this. I'll win every single debate. The comic elements that they had in the first movie, they expanded on even more here. They had all different types of animation styles. They even showed the Lego Spider-Man in here, and that was interesting. The colors were even more vibrant than the first one. Everything just flowed together really well. And next, I want to talk about the love story between Gwen and Miles. This love story, in my opinion, is the best on-screen Spider-Man love story because it's not a relationship yet. In the first movie that the two are introduced to each other, they start off as strangers. They become friends at the end of the movie. But you can kind of get the feeling throughout the whole first film that they have feelings for each other. And in this next film, it's basically confirmed when Gwen mentions how in every other universe, Gwen Stacy falls for Spider-Man, but it doesn't turn out well. And Miles tells Gwen that they can be the first. But it doesn't really go anywhere after that. There's other hints throughout the movie of the two liking each other. But once Gwen kind of betrays Miles by keeping secrets from him, that's when the fracture in their friendship is kind of formed, which we'll most likely see be fixed in the next installment. And as for the supposed love triangle between Miles, Gwen, and Spider-Punk, I don't think there really is one. Not once in that film, from what I saw, did Spider-Punk express any type of feelings for Gwen. Now, Gwen, on the other hand, she mentioned Spider-Punk, but I honestly think it's really just a friend's thing. I don't think there's really anything more to it. They kind of just complement each other. They're both just interested in the same things, it seems, musically and as far as style goes. But since we're on the topic of Spider-Punk, bro is just the epitome of just style, bro. The style he had, the personality, the way he carried himself was just dope. He had this, I don't care, but I'm gonna do whatever I want just because it seems fun in the moment type of vibe to him. He's really laid back. He had a different type of swag with the British accent, with the guitar, everything. And even though he didn't know Miles that long, it seems like Gwen told him a lot about Miles. And as soon as he met him, he was cool with him. He ended up helping him when Miguel had trapped him, when he told Miles to use his palms, meaning to use his electric powers to break out of the trap. And then right after he helps Miles, it seems like just so he doesn't have to hurt Miles, when Miguel tells the Spider Force to hunt him down, Spider-Punk just quits. And he ends up helping towards the end of the film, but I'm gonna get back to that in a little bit. Now back to Miles. A big theme in this movie is Miles not fitting in and generally feeling unwanted and abandoned. When Gwen first arrives, he learns of a task force of spider people that he isn't invited to, and he feels even more left out when he hears from Jessica Drew that he can't be on the team. Once some dimension hopping shenanigans happen, and he ends up at the Spider HQ, he sees just how many spider people are on this team, and it's basically everybody besides him. They even had a spider cat. Miles is told by Miguel that Miles' dad is supposed to die in 2 days, and that he basically has to let that happen because it's a canon event. And all the spider people around him are cool with this because they accept it and they're like, this is something that has to happen. They start talking about how if Uncle Ben hadn't died, they wouldn't be who they are today. And they basically just want Miles to suck it up and let his dad die. But I'm looking at it like Miles already lost his uncle. It's basically his Uncle Ben. So I don't get why he has to lose his dad, besides it messing up the multiverse, blah, blah, blah. And Miguel doesn't really give him a choice and just traps him. Well, he attempts to, but like I said earlier, Spider-Punk, being the amazing character he is, told Miles exactly how to escape simply by referencing his palms, talking about the shocking ability, and he breaks out. And once he breaks out, Miguel sends the spider people after him, and Miguel honestly was the most determined. Miles had bro on all fours, chasing him down everywhere. But something that made me really feel bad for Miles was seeing how Gwen and Peter kind of betrayed him, even though they didn't want to do it, and in some cases they didn't even do it purposefully. With Gwen just not knowing how to tell Miles and Peter seemingly alerting the spider people by accident of his location, he really just kept getting backstabbed left and right by people that he thought cared about him. And when Miles finds out from Miguel that the spider that he was bitten by came from another universe and he was really never supposed to become Spider-Man, that hurt me. Like, I felt that, you know what I'm saying? Miguel actually called him the original Anomaly, which makes me even more excited for the next movie because I'm interested in seeing how they fix that. Because what does that really mean for Miles? Does that mean he's not supposed to exist? I know that means he was never supposed to become Spider-Man, and that was an anomaly in itself. But what about all the people he saved? So I'm really wondering how they tackle that in this next movie. This movie was really both a Gwen and a Miles story. The movie starts with Gwen being Spider-Woman, and when her dad finds her on top of Peter Parker's lifeless body, he tries to arrest her. Even when she reveals her identity, he still tries to arrest her. Before Miguel intervenes, and Jessica Drew convinces him to take her with them and join their Spider Force. Miles, on the other hand, is dealing with pretty normal spider stuff. His grades are good, but not where they could be. His parents are worried about him because of how he keeps disappearing and is distant, and has basically became a completely different person for the past year, which he has. But Miles does want to tell his parents that he's Spider-Man, but he's worried about their reaction. Oh, and by the way, Peter B. Parker has a kid now. She's pretty cool. Now let's talk about the main villain, the Spot. The Spot is introduced as a pretty comedic villain, and one that seems almost harmless. I'm not gonna lie, I had no type of fear when I saw him at all. And I don't think anybody did. But I think that's done pretty purposefully because we see what he turns into. Now, as for origin story, he becomes the Spot after the super collider exploded at the end of Into the Spider-Verse. And once he becomes the Spot, he turns to a life of crime after he's rejected by his family, friends, and all that. And he was actually the one who turned on the particle collider in the beginning of Into the Spider-Verse. That brought the Spider from Earth 42 to our main Earth where Miles is. So in a way, the Spot kind of created this Spider-Man, which is why Miguel calls Miles the original Anomaly, because he was never supposed to be Spider-Man. And the Spot hates Miles because while the Spot was shunned for his appearance and rejected by his family, Miles was celebrated, and the Spot doesn't want to just be a laughingstock anymore or just a villain of the week. He wants to take everything from Spider-Man because he feels like he took everything from him when he destroyed the collider and turned him into the Spot. The Spot progressively turns into more and more of an intimidating villain as he gets stronger throughout the movie, especially during the end when he's this ominous creature hovering over New York on Miles' Earth. As far as cameos in this movie, I feel like all of them are pretty good. We got to see Spectacular Spider-Man for the first time in years. We saw Ben Reilly, who was interesting. He was funny, I'm not gonna lie. We had Insomniac Spider-Man, Spider-Man Unlimited was there. Seeing all these Spider people interact was great, and I especially like how they showed the live action characters like Andrew Garfield, Tobey Maguire, and the Prowler. That was all done amazingly well, and I'm really excited to see what they do in Beyond the Spider-Verse. And as far as the Prowler, I'm guessing that Prowler is supposed to be the MCU's version of the Prowler, the one with Donald Glover that we saw in Spider-Man Homecoming. So I'm guessing that's the same one, but maybe we'll see him again sometime in the future in Spider-Man 4 or 5. I don't know, but time will tell. After Miles raises up Cyber Spider Girl, hold up, let me see your name. Spider-Bite, yep, Spider-Bite. Spider-Bite secretly helps Miles get transported back to where they thought was Miles' home, but he ends up getting taken to the universe that the spider that bit him is from. Miles is in the wrong universe, which he soon realizes when he sees his Uncle Aaron, and he gets knocked out by Earth 42's version of himself, which is the Prowler. And he wakes up tied up and is constantly glitching because he doesn't belong in that universe. Gwen, on the other hand, while her and Miles aren't on good terms, with her betraying him and everything, is still trying to advocate to Miguel and Jessica to let her talk to Miles, but they don't agree and send her back home, while trying to seemingly convince themselves and the other Spider people that they are indeed the good guys. Gwen returns home and reconciles with her father, who gives her a gift that Spider-Punk left her, which was the dimension-hopping watch thing. With Miles still in danger of being killed by his Prowler self and Uncle Aaron, Gwen brings back the original Spider team from the first movie, with a few extras such as Spider-Punk, excuse me if I pronounce this wrong, but Paviter Prabhakar. My bad if I butchered that. I'm trying. Peter's daughter, Mayday Parker, and Spider-Bite all go to save Miles, and the movie ends with Miles possibly about to use his electric powers to escape. Miles is getting beat down by life this entire film. His relationship with his parents isn't good. He's told 2 days in advance that his father's going to get killed by a villain that he accidentally created, and everyone just wants Miles to accept that, which he obviously isn't. Miles is seemingly betrayed and lied to by Gwen and Peter, who are his mentor and his friend, people that Miles thought he could truly count on. But he continues to be Spider-Man. Even though Miguel told him he wasn't meant to be, Miles has to save his dad, or else why have these powers that he's been given in the first place? That's how I see it. Why be given these extraordinary abilities if we don't use them to try and save everybody? This movie definitely felt like a part 1, which it is, and I think I'll enjoy it even more once Beyond the Spider-Verse comes out in 9 to 10 months, and we get to see how this new Spider team is in action, how Miles gets back to his universe, and how the Spot is defeated, and especially if Miles ends up being able to save his dad. A theory that I have is that he ends up saving his dad, but it ends up being his mom that dies. Or, since the main theme about this movie is fate and changing fate or accepting fate, I think that Miles being an anomaly really technically makes him the most Spider-Man. This is something that he chose to become. It isn't something that fate had written for him. So I think that he'll be the Spider-Man to break the mold and keep both parents, which would be a callback to my favorite line in the movie when he says, "Everybody keeps telling me how my..." Hold on, I'm gonna say it in his voice. Play the music. "Everybody keeps telling me how my story's supposed to go. Nah, I'm gonna do my own thing." That line was so cold, you know what I'm saying? I think, tell Marvel, tell Sony they need to call me, bro. They need me in the, you know what I'm saying? I'm nice with it, bro. Y'all can have me in the live action movie, bro. You know what I'm saying? Call me up. I'm going to DM y'all later. You know what I'm saying? Look at your DMs. Call me up real quick. We can have a discussion. How this going to work. It's going to work out perfectly. Just, you know what I'm saying? Just hit me up. I honestly think this is movie of the year. I would 100% recommend it. And if you enjoyed this video, like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you in the next Spider-Verse. Peace. Whip, whip. How you feeling?
Good.
Let's see how this started. Hey, look, get in the camera. Get in the lens so I can see from the... Alright, look up.